Hello students, welcome to another lecture. So, hope everyone is fine, and today we will start with a new subject, business environment and international business. So from the name itself, I hope you got some idea what will be the content of this subject. So the course code is MCO2.4A13, and we will have 5 units, and the syllabus is there in the LMS. We can share that, and we will have 5 different units in which we will be discussing about the different aspects of the business environment, in which as you know, business will be working in not in the air, so it has to be in an environment where there are a lot of people involved. So we'll be discussing in detail about the environment in which the business is going to operate. Then we have some legal framework. Then so in the second unit we'll be discussing about the legal and social environment. Then third unit we will be discussing about the nature of international business. So what's the scope and what is the nature of international business, and different forms of international trade and theories on international business, mechanism theories. So similar other theories we'll be discussing. And in the fourth unit, we'll be discussing about globalization of business and various concepts, including the concept of multinational companies, foreign direct investment, and foreign portfolio investment, the types of FDIs. So this will be discussed in the fourth unit. And finally, in the fifth unit, we'll be discussing about economic integration and export-import trade. And we have a lot of many agencies in the international business, including different unions. So we have European Union, then agreements including the NAFTA agreement, ASEAN agreement, SAARC. These are also the international organizations. Then the Export-Import Bank, then the Exim policy of our country, then GATT agreements, WTO, its functions. So this is going to be discussed in the last unit. So this is how we are going to take this subject. So as an introduction, we will be just starting with the discussion about business and its environment. So what do you know? What is I think all of you are aware that business is business. What the meaning of business? So business is an economic affair which is related to continuous production and distribution of goods and services for satisfying the needs of customers. So we have some product to sell, we have some service to render, or we have something to meet the requirements of our customers. So this all comes under the purview of business. And this business will be working in an environment where a lot of other people are involved. So the environment includes all the conditions and circumstances which influences surroundings and affects the total organization or any of its part. So the environment is the place, or you can say the factors which are going to affect the business, like the legal framework, policy of the government, maybe the legal requirements which the company has to comply with, or maybe the people with which the company is going to engage, customers. So like all this constitute the environment. So each business organization operates on its own unique environment. So depending on the nature of the business, the environment also will be different. And what's this business environment? So it can be defined as a combination of internal and external factors that will influence a company's operating situation. So this is a simple meaning of business environment. So definition of business environment is that, so we can define business environment as the sum total of all individuals, institutions, and other forces that are outside the control of a business enterprise, but the business still depends upon them as they affect the overall performance and sustainability of the business. So it is a lengthy sentence, but I hope you understood the concept. So it is the sum total of all the individuals, institutions, and other forces that are outside the control of the business. So basically, these things are outside the control of the business, but they will have to no, we will have to consider them because they are going to affect the performance of our company. So this is the meaning of business environment. So we'll be discussing in detail what are the various components of this business environment. So it can include the suppliers, competitors, consumer groups, media, government, customers, economic conditions, market conditions, the investors of our company, then the technology the company is going to use, then the trends and challenges in the market and economy. And so these are some of the various constitute of the business environment. So as we cannot, the company cannot sustain neglecting any of these environment or constitutes of the environment. They have to consider and work along with. They'll have to meet the requirements and meet the these different components of the business environment. And these forces are collectively going to affect the affairs of the business. So definitely, if a business is not meeting or they're not addressing the requirements of any of this environment, they are going to, maybe they'll be forced to discontinue the business, or they will be disappeared from the market. So there are many incidences, with which the company were forced to close down the business, maybe because of the government requirements, legal requirements, or maybe customers, reactions, or maybe they have neglected the interest of the investors. So, or maybe they have not adopted the new technologies which were available in the market. So this environment is having a great impact on the business, the sustainability of the business. So we are interested to sustain our business by addressing the requirements of all these environments. For example, we can say, we have a tax system in our country. So maybe the government is introducing a new tax system, like earlier we had the VAT process or VAT system where the value added tax was followed by the government. Now we know the government have introduced the GST, goods and service tax. So the tax is collected at in a different way from the VAT. So VAT system will have different process, and GST is having a different process. So as a business, as a businessman, we will be liable for paying the taxes for the government, and customers also will have to pay the tax. So this is when the system is changing, we will have to accommodate that into our business, or we will have to address that change. So here the business would have to re-establish its prices to survive the change. So in this situation, if the tax regime is changing, maybe this is going to have an impact on the pricing. So company will be forced to reconsider the pricing strategies, or maybe they will have to increase or adjust the prices. If they are not doing this, what is going to happen? So if the price is not adjusted for the tax system that is prevailing, they will have to either bear the taxes by the business, which will reduce the profit. Ultimately, the investors will not get any return, and they will withdraw their investments. The company will collapse. So this is one scenario where not adapting to the changes in the business environment can affect the sustainability of the business. So now let's see the various definitions given for the business environment and its importance. The business environment has been defined by Bayard O. Wheeler as the total of all things external to firms and industries which affect their organization and operation. Another definition is given by Arthur M. Weimer. The business environment encompasses the climate or set of conditions, economic, social, political, or institutional, in which business operations are conducted. So I don't think that we have to explain more about the business environment. So for example perspective, we can learn any of these definitions, and we can use for the giving an introduction to the answer. Then the concept of business environment, as I told you. So no organization or no business will be able to sustain without considering its environment. So a business firm is an open system. So as we know, many people are involved, and it is working in an environment where there are many constituents and many people will interact with the business through various aspects. Like maybe customers are there, suppliers are there, the people who are rendering services like technology, maybe they are doing. So they have to consider all these elements. So it gets resources from the environment and supplies its goods and services to the environment. So business will have to rely a lot on the environment of the business. There are different levels of environmental forces. Some are close and internal forces, whereas others are external forces. We can classify, or we will be able to segregate this environment into internal and external forces. External forces may be related to the national level, regional level, or international level. And these environmental forces provide opportunities or threats for the business community, to the business community. We will be discussing that in the later chapters. Every business organization tries to grasp the available opportunities and face the threats that emerge from the business environment. So they will be facing these threats emerging from the various internal and external environments. Based on they will have to address these challenges and threats. So, business being the definition or the meaning of business includes being busy. So the managers are being busy, meeting or addressing this changing or challenging situations, without which no business can sustain. So they change their internal business components or external changes, business opportunity, according to external opportunities. They'll have to plan the business accordingly. So it is therefore very important to analyze business environment to survive and to get success for a business in its industry. So if a business wants to sustain and they want to survive their business, or they want to continue their operations, they'll have to definitely consider the environment. They have to continuously analyze and act according to the requirements of the environment. So it is therefore we can consider that the business environment is a vital part of the business, and environment should be addressed properly by the managers. So depending on the nature of the environment, the business managers are expected to address or maybe face these environments and develop strategies for business strategies for effectively continuing and sustaining the business operations. The business firm gets human resources, capital, then technology, information, energy, raw materials, everything from the outside. So they have to acquire these resources. Then on the other side, these resources have to be processed, and they have to give this to a range of customers. And before this, they will have to again go through the rules of the land where they are operating. So there are some government rules and regulations, and social norms are there, cultural values are there, ethics are there, and regional treaties. Maybe there are agreements between countries, there are agreements between companies, and in the industry there can be some norms and agreements. So these have to be considered by the business, and they have to go in line with this. So these are some of the important factors or important aspects of business environment. So we'll discuss more about the business, various components of the business environment in the coming lectures. So with this introduction, we'll wind up this lecture. Thank you.